Hey there everyone, Michael here, and welcome to another ShiftOS video. This is my fourth take on this video because recording full-screen games in OBS is surprisingly difficult when you're the programmer of the game. I don't know why, don't ask me. Anyways, I think I've gotten it working. And I guess if you're seeing this video I have, so, yeah, welcome to another ShiftOS video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the various changes that have occurred in ShiftOS model game. This is my previous video on this channel. And also, we're going to be talking about ShiftSyndicate and some other stuff to do with ShiftOS and basically what's been happening so far this month. And I think we'll start with that. So, month of July has been pretty... It's always known for messing with ShiftOS's life. Like, in 2016, I believe that was probably the end of... That was when 0.1.1 was starting to die. 2015, ShiftOS Next existed, so that says a lot. If you don't know what ShiftOS Next is, you don't need to know. It was bad. That's all you're going to know. I think I did a video on it, actually. I'm not sure, though. And 2017, we have ShiftSyndicate, and a lot of other stuff. So the story... The whole story goes, one night, some drama broke out in the community of how the game was literally as Pong, with a graphical user interface surrounding it, with an app launcher and everything. And honestly, that's kind of true. And it has been that way for years. It's like, it's so bad that I'm pretty sure one of the tip texts at the bottom has literally referenced that. So we were kind of thinking of new things to do in game, and it started to end up being around like 11:30 at night, and we were still going on with that conversation. It was either 11:30 or 10:30, I can't remember. This is really early on. And I was just getting so many ideas that I just couldn't handle it in my head, and I needed to sleep, so I left the call abruptly and went to bed. That kind of worried people. So I wake up the next day, and I check the Discord like I usually do, check the website. Well, first of all, the website's down, and I made a video on that. And secondly, the entire community's going, what the hell did Michael do? Like, they think I pulled a PR stunt or something. So I had to prove that it wasn't me doing it, whatever, ShiftSyndicate. We didn't know a lot about ShiftSyndicate back then. Everyone literally thought it was something I would do, so they blamed it on me. It was not me. And I was able to prove it was not me, but later on people kept on, they kept on just getting at me for that, and I just, between ShiftSyndicate and that entire week was a pretty big mess for me, and so I basically needed to shut down the Discord server and make it private while I recovered everything. So I did that, and people still thought that it was, or that I did that for another reason, and I will say it again. I shut down the Discord server because the drama was too difficult. I could not focus on fixing everything, and so I needed to make it private between me, staff, and developers, so that we could work towards fixing it and rebuilding what we had before ShiftSyndicate. And I did that. I got the domain name back. And the server's back up. It's joinable. It's no longer private. And the game's back in development. But ShiftSyndicate, we began to learn more about them. So, okay, they're not a hacker group. They're script kiddies. Because what I did is about a week ago or something, a week ago, a few days ago, I can't remember, my memory's spotty on this, they had joined the forum, with a bunch of different, like, bot accounts, and they started posting lots of weird things, and I'm not going to describe what I mean by weird, because it's not PB. So, yeah, moving on. I deleted all that weird stuff and I banned all the accounts, and I put the website into admin activation mode, which means you can register, but I determine whether or not you get to actually have an account. So, until I do, you don't get to do anything. Your account's just there, you can log in, but it'll say, oh, Michael hasn't activated this account yet, please wait. And so I did that, and we haven't had any ShiftSyndicate attacks on the forums at all. They're stripped kitties, because they were abusing certain ACP settings that as soon as I turn off, they can't abuse. So, if they were real hackers, they would have actually tried to breach an account with admin access, shut those settings off, and then, yeah. And around that time, we actually got a new domain name, getShiftOS.net. Thanks to Jacob Masurian, which is, sorry if I butchered your name there, which is now another sysadmin of ShiftOS. He got us the domain name, so we're no longer using getShiftOS.ml, and that was one of the points of failure that caused the first attack, so they can't do that. I'd really like to see them try. And we got SSL, so they're not getting passwords, they're not getting any information without having to decrypt it. And good luck getting the private key. So, we're pretty secure now. I'd like to hope that everyone's passwords are secure enough to not be brute forced. Mine certainly is, unless you want to spend 600 million millennias doing it. Yeah, it's strong. So strong that I don't even know it. So yeah, and they showed up a few days later on the Discord doing and asked me anything. And they said that they don't intend to hurt, they intend to troll, which is obviously not trustworthy. They said they would stop, but they come back the next day, or at least a member of them comes back. We start to learn more and more about them. We get all their Twitters, red flag for them, and a lot of other stuff that I'm not going to go over, because it'll blow a private operation within the staff team, and that is to end ShiftSyndicate entirely. Jacob Masurian is on that, I'm programming, so yeah. ShiftSyndicate, we don't have to worry about for now. With that said, things are going to be kind of different in the game, because along with ShiftSyndicate, we were actually discussing the Pong issue. So first things first, you know it, I've removed all Shiftorium upgrades from the game, there's no upgrades yet. So Shiftorium's being rebalanced, hacking is being the main focus of the game, and I have not fully implemented that yet. And a lot of applications are going to be unlocked by default. So TextPad, Skin Loader, stuff like that, those are all unlocked by default. So yeah. I'm not going to go over all changes of the game, because you'll see them in the future as I work on them. But for now, let's get into this dev update, because that intro got really long. So if we go into options here, and this is the new main menu, if we go into options, we can set the screen resolution and whether or not we're in full screen, which I'm not going to mess with because it's going to break my recording. However, instead, we'll just click submit and get back to the main menu. Of course, at the bottom, We've got some tip texts and useful stuff like that, that are fading in and out. You can go ahead and read them if you want. Let's blab about free open source software down there. And we've got sandbox and campaign mode, which for some reason I hovered over campaign while saying sandbox. Oh well. Let's jump into campaign because sandbox is a bit buggy with the window manager for some reason. And we now have our desktop, and I have my The Hell skin applied, of course, because Victor Tran is awesome. The Hell is awesome. If you don't agree with that, load another skin. So on the side here we've got system status, which looks nothing like it does in The Hell. And this is the equivalent of running your status command. It is also replacing clock because we've already got a panel clock. And no, the panel clock's not cut off, it's just the way I format the text, it's kind of bugged. Terminal. Actually, no. We'll go into App Launcher. App Launcher is working perfectly now. It's just missing a shutdown button. But TextPad we can open, and we can I'm writing a document in a text pad that can't save. We can use the enter key and stuff like that. Test, test, test. We can even do ASCII art if we wanted to. I'm not going to because it's insanely difficult when half your keyboard doesn't work. Because you haven't programmed it correctly. So that's TextPad. The caption buttons at the top here don't work. So close, minimize, maximize. Need to fix those. Let's go back into file or App Launcher here. File skimmer, of course. We know what that is, but it's gotten changed a bit. Shiftorium, like I said, no upgrades, but this is the user interface for Shiftorium. Some new features will include the ability to see upgrades that you already have and have little tutorials on how to use them. File skimmer, bit of a window manager bug there, but file skimmer is extremely primitive now, but it works mostly. You can open files, you can view directories, you can't delete anything yet, but you can still skim your file system, which is why it's called file skimmer. Pong, the meme that it is not finished. And I don't plan to finish it for a long time. I want to deal with hacking, not Pong. You won't believe the amount of times I've had to reprogram Pong this year alone. I don't want to do it again. System status, we've already seen that. Terminal, pretty simple. It's a terminal. We can type help to get commands, we can clear it if I can type and not have bugs. We can look at upgrades, status, save the game. Well, that's a bug. Okay, never mind that. We can upgrade info. Oh wait, never mind. No, never mind. Processes. Yeah. So that's the terminal, and that's pretty much the entire game so far. Now I have a few questions for you guys. One, and I really need your opinions on this because it's kind of a big part of the game. Do you guys prefer a docking window manager, which is what we're using right now, or the old classic stacking window manager, which allowed you to drag things around? Because whichever one you choose will be the default and probably the only window manager in ShiftOS. And the reason I ask that is because you really do need a window manager for an operating system and a graphical user interface like this, so it'd be pretty important to get that working. And I just noticed that the cursor is not offsetting for some reason. I did not fix that bug, but it seems to have fixed itself. Unless it's just being weird. Okay, the hell, you fixed a bug. Okay. So yeah, stacking window manager, or docking window manager, please go ahead and vote in the, or on the poll I'm going to link in the, or below once I set it up. It'll be in the description, or in the description, not the description. God, I can't speak today. So yeah, apparently it is 11:54. Really, it's 11:02. Anyways, I've been Michael. Hopefully this worked. I'll see you guys in the next video. Also, I fixed an issue with my graphics processor, my APU actually. I enabled APU scaling, and I can run full screen applications without overscan. Awesome.